From a point of no return, this message comes in as an alert for ones to take, to heed the call once more. Within a grouping with all fellow inhabitants of the multiverses, giving forth their complete dedication and fostering of help that is needed at this time. This is quintessentially adding up for a moment to be dispersed to ones that are heeding the call. You are not lost, we are saying. You are far from being lost, and one should not feel that they have been left to do this alone. A firm handshake has been made between the galaxies that all of you call home. The many parts with many differences, but although these differences are blatantly seen, they do not disrupt our dedication for each other and you. We know that our differences make us unique and characterize essential aspects of our part in the multiverses. This is what we want for you to realize as well. If only ones could embrace this knowledge that has been forgotten. Why is it so secretive, you ask, if we are telling you that it has been forgotten? There is nothing apart from you, as you were taught to believe. And if you believed that nothing was apart from you, there would be nothing left in secrecy, for everything would be with you, and the open door to everything would be available all the time. There would be nothing closed off from you when the feeling of being apart or separate from anything dissolves. So how can we integrate a choice of an allowance of togetherness? A togetherness of all that you have been told that is separate from you. Could there even be a way to convince one without a scene taking place in front of their eyes? Oh no, you would say. Where would I go to prove this to anyone else? How would I justify anything if there was not a written message to go along with it? From that standpoint, we would like to concur that those views that one needs to see and that literature that one needs to hear has been given many times over. Many of you have assumed that those messages came from someone else, therefore away from you, separated from you. One thinks those messages may seem nice at that moment, but also thinks that one needs to get on with my day. And the key word there is my day. So all of which you are hearing causes one to think that others' doings are separate from the I, when in turn the I is the representation of all. Something that is drawn on paper may look a certain way on that paper, but the caricature or model drawn on that paper looks very different once it is poured into a creation. The creation now has many more angles and highlights that could have never been produced on that paper, and now receives an animated or come to life feeling, as you say. So when these components come to life from that drawing on the paper, a whole other world is exposed for one to then see all was already included in that drawing from the beginning. But this is where one only allows themselves a perspective of what was yet to be the finished product, separate from the drawing itself. One's mind cannot hold the containment of the idea as a whole, that the finished product is not separate from the drawing. This resembles you in the way of the I that you think you are. You might have all these attributes of the physical form on paper, but the I is not the finished product that you think. The I is nothing more than a measurement of self with and from an identity of form. This idea of the identity has taken shape in the form of the feeling of separateness. Therefore, being away from all that you are, not just the I that you think you are. This then goes on to say that our will and grace is bestowed on all of you for ones who take in such a hallucination of fear from being far from the comfort of home. Our only course for this matter to be resolved lies within our hands to lay the mighty sword of truth so ones can forget and be retold the story of who they are.